All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This is South Carolina Live, the very first live show, the live call-in show that we have for you tonight. We are extremely excited to bring you a fantastic edition of South Carolina Live here at the Voice of College Football. Always a pleasure to talk with you guys as usual. Apologies for that delay. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Do us a favor. I'm about to post the link in the chat. Get our link in the on Twitter. And we'll get you guys' thoughts on all that we have going on here today. We are also live on the SEC channel as well. So we are extremely excited to hear from you guys and hear you guys' thoughts on all things around the world of college football, all things around. If you want to call in, though, if you don't want to show your face, that's all good. Just here's a call in number 225-892-2384. That's 225-892-2384. Guys, we got a big one coming up today. Guys, a big decision is to come in the next few weeks to for South Carolina football. Good evening to you as well, William Jones. But again, guys, we have a lot to expect. Number one, let's talk about Landon Duckworth and the potential that is set to occur for his future when it comes to the state of recruiting. Number one, let's talk about what Landon Duckworth is going to showcase. And I want to shout out our good boy over at Mississippi State of the Voice of College Football, Christian Ballard, who says hello. Good to see all of you and who are tuned in today. Once again, guys, that call-in link is in the description. In the comment section, just click that link, join on in, man, or else just call in using the number below. Whichever you prefer. Doesn't matter to me. Anyways, make sure you guys are shooting us your questions, your comments, whatever you have concerns. But again, I do want to talk about what Landon Duckworth could offer at the end of the day and what could potentially happen with this commitment that is coming up and how will it affect South Carolina. Number one, this is probably one of the biggest commitments that South Carolina is to expect in the next couple of days, maybe since the start of the summer. Knowing the type of impact that he can provide to a program is immense. Knowing the type of impact that Landon Duckworth can create to your program is going to be a must at this point in time. It is this is more important that you are able to get a guy like Duckworth in your building than anything else. Now, we will go over some recruiting news. We'll talk a little bit about that. But apart from that, guys, I mean, this is an absolutely important day that is coming up tomorrow for South Carolina. It's an important day for what is to come for the future of this recruiting program for South Carolina. And by the way, some recruiting updates from what we have in the class of 2026, 11. And actually, we have our first caller coming in now. All right, you are on the phone live. This is South Carolina here at the Voice of College Football. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking to?
Hey, what's up? It's Christian Ballard from the Mississippi State channel. How you doing?
What's up, Christian? How are you this evening?
I'm good, man. Thanks for taking my call tonight.
Absolutely, brother. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about South Carolina tonight, obviously, and you know they had kind of talked about last year. I'm an Alabama guy, even though I know I'm covering Mississippi State, but there was some speculation and rumors about could a 9-3 team get in the playoffs and stuff last year when it comes to South Carolina and Alabama, and then they mentioned the whole head-to-head thing. But when you look at Carolina having won 9 games last year, bringing back Lenora Sellers and everything, you open with Virginia Tech, who I do think South Carolina is the better team there. You have teams, I think they get Clemson at home this year. They host Alabama. I don't know, man. I think you guys return a lot of talent. I mean, I guess my question would be, what's the big ceiling for South Carolina this year, man? I mean, is it playoff or bust for them? Or, I mean, even if they miss the playoffs, I mean, you still got to hope for 10 wins, right?
Yeah, Christian, first of all, thank you for your call, brother. The biggest thing that I have talked to my viewers about this is you have to realistically set expectations low. I've been covering the SEC and college football over the last 3 years. Every single year that I've seen South Carolina, I'll give you a little history lesson. 22, they go, I think 6-7, make a bowl game. They're starting to go on the rise. 23, they start off rough, but they have that great stretch where they beat Tennessee and they beat Clemson near the end of the year and put up a good fight with Notre Dame at the end of the year and finish what? I think 9-4 or something like that. Expectations were high going into 2000, or actually that was 22 that happened. 23 is when expectations were high. You return Spencer Rattler to that program, and then they fall flat on their face. At the end of the day, you go into last year, you have a young quarterback, young roster. You start off rough. Expectations were low, but then you have a great 6-game stretch where you beat Texas A&M, you beat Missouri, and you were able to establish yourself as a late contender for the college football playoff. But I think realistically going into this year, you have to keep expectations low. History tends to repeat itself, and I think the same is going to go the same for South Carolina. I have them going 7-5 or 8-4 this year. I think the ceiling for sure, 10 wins is absolutely winnable. Absolutely, they can do this. My only concern is how will your back seven perform after losing a lot last year? You lose a leader of what you have with Nick Eamon-Warry, who's now in the NFL draft. Demetrius Knight, who in my opinion was the glue to South Carolina's defense last year. He's now in the NFL. You lost a defensive lineman in Kyle Kennard, who won the Bednarik Award last year. Now, I will say when it comes to South Carolina, I've talked about this plenty of times. You got names in the portal. They're not sexy names, but they are names that you can rely on a regular basis at the end of the day. They're names that you can plug and play at the end of the day. Guys that were former 3, 4, 5 stars, maybe some from other G6 conferences, they can come in to this South Carolina defense and they can play a formidable role. They may not be elite talent at the end of the day, but they can play an elite role when it comes to how South Carolina performs at the end of the day for their defense. The biggest thing is going to be their defense. I would say even the receiving core a little bit with the amount of talent they have, but we haven't shown that on display. I think that's going to change this year. But it all goes back down to how this defense is going to continue to elevate their game and how Clayton White is just going to continue to elevate this defense at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned you got a lot of young guys and, kind of on defense, a little bit on offense too. But, I think South Carolina this year, man, like opening with Virginia Tech, South Carolina State, it's an in-state team, but come on. I mean, you should win that game, no problem. Vandy, even though it's at home, it gets a little tricky there with Diego Pavia coming to town. Overall, I think it is a favorable schedule and everything. I feel like South Carolina, to me, is going to be one of those teams that you hope they have issues early that they can straighten out quick enough, and they just improve as the year goes on. That doesn't mean they go on a big winning streak or anything like that and they go undefeated, but you hope that, the games that they do lose, they still put up enough talent on the field, and they have some good performances that you say, well, they just kind of let it get away instead of they didn't even show up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, and I think you saw a lot of that at the start of the year, especially with Old Dominion. I mean, that was a team that you should have went into that first game of the year much more prepared than you did whenever you got punched in the mouth against that program.
Right.
There's no way that you can have an Old Dominion type start like you did last year. I think South Carolina learned from that. I think they're going to approach that Virginia Tech game with a much better attitude, especially with everything that has gone on throughout the offseason and everything that's just going on with all the crap with Razul Faison still not getting his waiver. And I think that's something that you have to take, and it's got to piss you off a little bit because that's one of your brothers out there. We've had that similar situation whenever I was playing ball because we had a guy he was a star safety. He ended up getting a Grambling offer, a couple of FCS offers, but never really went anywhere. But that was one of our brothers. That was one of our teammates that we ended up losing at the start of the season because of this eligibility BS that's going on in college football. But to your point, Christian, I do think that this is a schedule that Phil Steele has it as like the fourth toughest schedule in college football. The road schedule is going to be a pain in the butt. But I do think there's opportunities for trap games like Alabama, who goes to Willie B. I think Ole Miss goes to Willie B as well, but don't take my word for it. But I think Clemson's ending up at Willie B as well. Those are three games I think if you can win those three, you're definitely going to be back in contention for not just an SEC title, maybe even a college football playoff as well. At least getting into those final four spots in the CFP. We'll go to a comment. Williams Jones says Carolina has wide receivers this year, and I think Harbor will be the number one receiver. Yeah, absolutely. I've been very high on Nick Harbor for what he's gotten and how he's done throughout this offseason as well.
I feel like I'll say this and then I'll let you get back to the show and all that. But I feel like Nick Harbor could be as good as maybe a Deebo Samuel from a couple years back. And we know how good he was for you guys.
Yeah, Nick Harbor reminds me so much of what I wouldn't say Deebo, because I think Deebo was, want to say a couple of pounds lighter than what Harbor is. Yeah. Deebo was 6 foot, 215. Nick's 6'5", 235. I see a lot of, and this may be me just shooting my mouth and being too much, I guess. But I see a lot of DK Metcalf with just the freakish speed, the freak of nature talent that Nick Harbor is. I think he's got an opportunity to be a breakout guy. I actually just released my top 10 receivers for all around the SEC, and I have Harbor right now, I think as an honorable mention guy, but he's one that I think could go under the radar this year, and I think he's got an opportunity to break out. The problem is I need to see him be consistent. Route running has got to get better. I think his footwork has been an issue at times. I think he got that resolved last year, and I think he'll just continue to develop going into this year.
For sure, man. Love the show. Love all you guys out there. And again, I'm part of the Mississippi State channel. Y'all go check us out here at the Voice of College Football. And as always, it's good to talk to you, man. Good to meet you.
All right, Christian. Have a good night.
Thank you.
That was Christian Ballard of Mississippi State Live over at the Voice of College Football. Again, phone lines are back open, 225-892-2384. Make sure you guys tune in. Send us your super chats as well. Why not? Hey, we'd love to hear from you as well. Xavier Lowell. Did I say that right? But I could be wrong. Full potential Harbor would be more like Julio Jones to me. The speed I can see. Jump ball, yes. I just see the frame as like a DK Metcalf type of frame. That's what I'm getting at. I don't know. Was Julio wasn't 220 coming out of college, was he? He was he was like 220 whenever he was in the league. I don't know if he got up uh to a bigger weight than that, but again, guys, I just see the freakishness that Nick Harbor has and what he can put on display at the end of the day for a team like South Carolina. He's going to continue to develop at a very, very high level at the end of the day. I'm really excited to see what Nick Harbor has in store for South Carolina. He's in for a breakout year. I mean, we've been waiting for it for what? The last 2 years. It's only going to get better from here at the end of the day. Let's recap SEC Media Days. Again, open phone lines are back open. Phone call. Shoot us a call. Even shoot us a text. Why not? I don't care. But I would like to hear some of y'all's voices. If not, no problem. Anyways, let's talk SEC Media Days, and let's recap all that went on because, guys, we are simulcasting right now live. We are live on South Carolina, my own X account. We're live on SEC at the Voice of College Football. I did try to get us on Inside Gamecocks or Gamecock Insiders, but I got to have an X membership to get into that. And we are not a member, so it's okay. Anyways, I do want to get into SEC Media Days and really point out something that was said throughout this week that Steve Sarkisian had to say. And I think that this is one that we really need to pay attention to at the end of the day when it comes to NIL. And what Sark said was so incredible that it blew my mind away that he would say this. But I think also at the end of the day, guys, he makes a lot of sense when he says this. So some say he's downplaying the role that it plays in the program's recruiting success, which I'm sure when it comes to that, you have to. But I think also at the end of the day, you got to realize how big NIL has become recently. You got to understand about how important that NIL will be for your program. How important it is for a team like Texas at the end of the day. How important that you're continuing to build on that program. Guys, there is a very, very important thing that's brewing out in Texas. And everybody looks at what happened with all the craziness with them bringing out the Lamborghinis and stuff. This is what he had to say. We only have so much money to go around, he was heard saying while addressing the room. And he says that he values relationships over NIL. We don't talk about NIL or revenue sharing, public or publicity rights until the very end. And that may hurt us on some kids. But if the kid is coming to Texas for that reason, we don't want him anyway. I can't offer every player the most money he might get offered from another school. It just doesn't work like that. Folks, do you really believe Sark when he says that at the end of the day? I kind of do, but I don't want to also contradict myself and say that it doesn't matter, because we've learned throughout this recruiting process, especially you as a South Carolina fan, about how important this is. Guys, relationships genuinely matter at the end of the day. They really do. Because Sark really, really hit the nail on the head when he said that if a kid is coming to Texas for that reason, for NIL, that we don't want him anyway. But in reality, guys, money is really going to generate a lot of talent. How much money did it take for them to keep Arch Manning there? That's my question. He could have gone elsewhere, guys. Now, do I think that Arch Manning would have gone elsewhere other than Texas at the end of the day? I don't know. I can only speculate at the end of the day. But from what I've observed, I know that there is a team like Texas that is going to continue to spread money around. And they can say, oh, we value relationships over NIL. That's still true, but at the same time, money also plays into a factor. We'll talk more about that when we come back. I got to use the bathroom. It's pretty bad. So here's Mark Rogers.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football. You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football. You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football. You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute.
Okay, shut up, Mark. All right. Sorry. But let's go back to our topic about relationships. Guys, when I tell you relationships matter, let's talk about when an actual relationship. Let's say you're in a romantic relationship. Do you think that when you look at a romantic relationship, let's say you're in a courtship with someone, you're about to get married, do you want to sign a prenup where everything is split down the middle, where money matters at the end of the day? It doesn't matter if you're making $200 or $200,000. Does money matter to you at the end of the day? Especially when it comes to a relationship. Yes, absolutely. In my opinion, it absolutely does matter. Because if you're wanting to grow in your relationship, in my opinion, how are you going to pay for dates? You as the man, how are you going to pay for your girlfriend? You got to have a car, obviously. You got to transport her somewhere. What are you going to do at the end of the day when it comes to growing in that relationship? When it comes to being able to take her out somewhere? You got to have money. That's where my point is when it comes to money being a factor now when it comes to schools. Guys, relationships do matter. But there's also a money side that comes to it as well. The same goes for romantic relationships and so on and so forth. It matters. It really does at the end of the day. But this is what he said also last year in his interview with Joel Klatt. If you lead with NIL to get a young man to come to your school, then a year from now, what is he going to ask about first? NIL doesn't come up. That should be the last reason you choose a school. That same thing in relationships. For most people, if money is the number one thing that matters when it comes to a relationship, you should not be in a relationship with somebody. If you're with someone because of how much money they have, you should not be in a relationship with them. You're not ready for a relationship. You're not, shall we say, mature enough to be in a relationship at this point. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I want you all to get at the end of the day. It's really, really important when it comes to relationships at the end of the day. And with a team like Texas, they're spending a lot of money when it comes to the NIL noise and building relationships. Georgia is a great example. Look at the PJ Dean situation. You thought relationships didn't matter? Think again. That's a huge, huge example of that. His brother went to Georgia, played offensive line there. What do you think? Relationships didn't matter there? Damn right it does, guys. It really does. Whether you like it or not. That is the ultimate thing that I'm trying to get at, is that if you are not developing a relationship with a recruit, then follow it up with the amount of money that you're willing to spend on the kid, then the rest just does not matter, guys. It really doesn't. So, guys, 50 of you are in here right now. Once again, let me pull up the call-in link for those of you that are wanting to call into the show. 225-892-2384, 225-892-2384. Let's continue on with our media days talk. Guys, we're having a lot of fun talking some SEC media days with you all. So Eli Drinkwitz also made a weird point when it came to NIL. He thinks that 30 teams deserve to be in the college football playoff. And he didn't answer, and no, he was not going to answer questions about the Epstein files, the radiation belt, and whether or not it was possible for Lee Harvey Oswald to get off 3 shots in 7 seconds. Well, hey, you're not going to do that. It is what it is. But he explained his 30-team playoff model with J.D. Pickell. And he said an interesting point. 44% of the teams in the NFL make the playoffs. We're talking about 10% of college football teams are going to make the playoffs, and we think that's going to keep fan bases encouraged. Here's the problem when it comes to that. How are you going to deal with the scheduling? If we're just doing, are we going to have a year like COVID was and have nothing but freaking conference games? We're going to have 9 conference games in a season. Then we're going to play playoff games all the way up until end of January, start of February. How's that going to favor with scheduling with NFL, with the playoffs? How's that going to work? How's that going to work with scheduling for spring? For the NFL draft? It's not. Unless you move the season up a couple weeks then maybe you can have some sort of success with that. But apart from it, there's really no chance that you're going to go past 16 for the next several years. And even then, it's egregious to the fact that you're going to include 16 teams in this playoff format. In my opinion, the magic number was 8. And when you went past 8, you screwed yourself. If you are a fan of a 16-team playoff, ask yourself this. What does the future of college football look like with a 16-team playoff? Are we, because of scheduling, what is going to happen with non-conference schedules? What do you do with that? Do you continue to have them? Do you get rid of them? What is it that you're going to do with these non-conference schedules? What do you want to do with them? To me, this whole ordeal makes no sense. It's a ridiculous thing to even consider at the end of the day. I think you're only going to put yourself in a deeper hole because of the egregiousness of some coaches that are promoting this. And Drinkwitz put out a tweet earlier and said, "Oh, I wasn't talking about putting 30 teams in a playoff." Well, then why did you say it? Why? Why did you say it? Because you made yourself look like an ass, guys. He made himself look like a complete ass saying that. So, again, guys, here's a guy that's promoting 9 conference games, which is stupid in my opinion. And now you want to expand playoffs? Doesn't make sense, guys. And I don't think it will even come close to occurring at the end of the day. You're not going to get a 30-team playoff. You won't ever get a 30-team playoff. This is what he said. Now you're talking about an opportunity for 30 teams, 30 fan bases to be excited and engaged in giving revenue. You've got 30 teams with players who have access to compete for a championship. So for me, I think that makes a lot more sense. It doesn't. And I don't think it ever will. So how many at-large bids are you going to give out? Again, scheduling is a concern. How are you going to continue to spread out TV revenue? How much money is going to be involved in this? That's what I want to know. Because there is a lot of money that's at stake when it comes to this as well. Got to find a way, man. Got to find a way to find some way to make this thing work. 30 isn't going to work. 16 isn't even going to work. 8 was your magic number, and you blew it as the college football playoff. So, Greg, also, let's continue on with this subject. Greg McElroy hinting that Nick Saban could return to coaching. How many of y'all really believe that Nick Saban is going to make a return to college football to coach? I've got a better chance of winning the lottery in about 30 seconds than Saban does of announcing he's going back into coaching. Now, you want to talk about something that's really egregious? Consider that. Really, really need to consider that one, guys. Because that one blows my mind. That anyone would even think in their right mind that Nick Saban would come back into college coaching. The same guy that got out for a reason. The same guy that said that he wasn't going to come back. He just wasn't. And there's no real reason for him to come back, in my opinion. Zero reason to come back, guys. There's really no reason to even let Saban get back. What are you going to do? I mean, it's I understand that the guy that broke it, Greg McElroy, would come out and say that, oh, this is what's going to happen. It's not, guys. Y'all got to get real when you think about this. Saban's not coming back into coaching. But even if he were to return to coaching, where do you think he would go? Let's say Clayton White does get an opportunity to go coach elsewhere, get his head coaching tenure going. What if that's the case? Certainly would bring in a lot of revenue. Certainly would bring in some notoriety around college ball. Brian Kelly asked, and Greg McElroy said this on his radio show with him and Cole Kulick, a very much in the know person that I have a lot of respect for and have spent a lot of time around and just really admire. They seem to think that Nick Saban's not done coaching. He's pretty adamant that he thinks Nick Saban will be coaching again. Look, if it wasn't someone notable, I'd never say a word. BK was asked about it, and this is what he said. It'd be better for college football if Nick Saban is coaching, period. Lane Kiffin got asked about it. He's not going to need me to hire him. I don't think he's done. I think he'll be back, whether that's college or the NFL. I think he'll be back. In my own personal opinion, Nick Saban's going to be back. It may not be in a head coaching role. It will be in an administrative or advising role, though. And I think that's where he would fit best, in my opinion. You can disagree, but I do think overall, an opportunity for Saban to potentially get out there and stay around the game of football is really, really notable, in my opinion. It wouldn't be the first time that an ESPN executive decided to go out there and decide to come back into coaching. It wouldn't. Do I think that it's going to happen? Sure, it could. Very likelihood that it could. But do I think it will it happen now? No. I think that you're going to give it some time. I think that Saban's going to be a little while. Give him some time when it comes to making this decision. I think he's going to take at least another year or two. See how he is with ESPN at this point in time. I still firmly believe that he's going to be back in the coaching ranks, but maybe not as a head coach, maybe an advising role. He'll be like what Jerry Kill is right now at Vanderbilt at this current moment. Jerry Kill was a longtime head coach. Former Minnesota head coach, was at New Mexico State with Diego Pavia. Now he's at Vanderbilt in a consultant role. He's not a head coach. He's just a consultant. So he's taking a step back, and he's still around the game. I think Saban's going to be around the game until the day he dies. Whether it be with ESPN or whether it be in this consultant role. He's going to do one of those two things. You can mark my words on it. I don't think that a team like Bama or a team around the Alabama area is going to hire Nick Saban. Auburn. Dude, if I had to put my chips on the table, Auburn's not going to hire Nick Saban. But haven't we heard this same shindig before, though? Because Saban has said multiple times, dating back to his LSU days, I'm not leaving to go to the NFL. He leaves to go to the NFL. Why he was at Miami, I'm not leaving to go to Bama. He would leave to go to Bama. This is the same shindig, guys. I'm not leaving my role with ESPN. Let's say he does. What happens then? It'll mean that we shouldn't really trust Nick Saban. Yes, that's one of those things. But I do think that this is a program, or this is a guy that at the end of the day, he wants to return to coaching. He loves coaching. He wants to stay around the game. And I think one of the biggest things that you're going to see when it comes to Nick Saban is that he's going to take his time with this, and he's going to continue to showcase and he's going to be patient when it comes to getting back into the game. It's going to be a slow process for you, but eventually we're going to get back to a point where Nick Saban is officially back in college football. It will still be in the SEC, but it won't be in the role that you think that he's going to be in. So we'll just have to see, man. Open phone lines, 225-892-2384, 225-892-2384. Numbers right there. We posted the number in the comments. Join in by a StreamYard. We got over 70 of you right now in the chat right now. Drop your comments, drop your super chats, drop whatever you have, any questions, comments, concerns that you may have for us. Drop it in the comments below, or just give us a freaking call. We had Christian Ballard talk to us earlier, but hey, definitely intriguing to see the future of what's going to happen with who might call in. All right. I do want to point this out too when it comes to SEC Media Days, is that our guys at SEC Unfiltered, my former employer, talked about Arch Manning's drip. He talked about Arch Manning's drip whenever he was at SEC Media Days. They were like, man, this guy is either he's got no drip, or they just don't like what he's got on. Anyway, so I want to show you this video. But my buddy Dave Shoemate makes a great point in regards to this, with how Arch Manning dressed throughout camp, throughout media days.
I can't tell if when it comes to the Arch Manning fit, whether I look at him and I'm like, this guy.
He gives frat vibes, to be honest with you. Does Arch Manning give out frat vibes? Call me. Let me know.
Just has no drip at all, no swag. Or if it is such an aura play that like he doesn't have to go above and beyond with the fit, I'm still trying to figure that out. Like it's almost like you give so little of a damn that I respect the hell out of it. I really do. I have to respect it. So guys, they have the flair and everything, and he just shows up like his first day of school, dude. I love it.
Me be like, maybe just like a family strategy. They don't want him out there like some Gucci outfit, and people are talking about he's flying on the radar.
I think that's probably what it is.
Maybe a little bit.
In my opinion, that's just the Manning mentality. Just don't put yourself out there. Don't bother just saying that, oh, we're going to put on our Gucci clothes or whatever. Not. You don't need all that flair, guys. And I've tweeted this out there. Dave made a great point. There's no point in wearing all this expensive clothing to put yourself out there as some big shot or whatnot. Guys, there's no need for it, in my opinion. There's no need for you to even put yourself in that position. It's just not even necessary. There is literally no point in just putting yourself out there that you're going to be more of a distraction with what you're wearing than what you actually have to say to the media. The message that you want to send to people at media days in order to put yourself in a situation where you can be as successful as you possibly can be. That's what you're going to end up having to do. That's what you need to do, and that's what you have to do at the end of the day. It's a Manning thing, in my opinion. But I do think also, in regards to that, that is also I'm going to be smarter than everyone else out there. I'm not going to put myself out there for all to see. I'm going to make a statement when it comes to media days. I'm going to stay professional. I'm going to know that you've got your family that's watching you. I'm not going to go all out when it comes to this. It's literally just talking to the media. Just dress in a suit, tie, blazer, whatever you got to do. Wear your team pin on your blazer or whatnot. And just have fun. That's what media days is. You're just talking to the freaking media. So we'll see, man. Do I think that there's any sort of problem with what Arch Manning is wearing? No, I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. But my own thing is that with Arch, there's no need for him to go all extravagant. There really isn't. So, again, guys, that's my thoughts on this. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on what he was wearing at media days. So, I didn't have a problem with what he wore, nor what he had to say throughout media days. That's the mentality. That's a Manning mentality, and that's what we like to see at the end of the day. All right. Let's talk about what Kalen DeBoer had to say on the Nick Saban rumors. He says he's earned the right to do what he wants. He's the greatest to ever do it. And he also made sure to point out that he's still involved in the college football landscape. He's one of the leading voices on the sport, routinely speaking on big picture issues, obviously with College Game Day that he's part of. Like I mentioned, guys, he's still going to be part of the game at the end of the day. Guys, it's going to wrap it up for us here on our call-in show. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in. We had somebody call in, so appreciate you guys as well for leaving your comments, guys. We really appreciate that. So, once again, we'll take about 5 more minutes. Have you guys call in if you have anything on your mind tonight. Doesn't have to be South Carolina. It can be anything around the SEC. It can be anything around college football, whether you want to talk about expansion, whatnot, even whatever happened at the freaking Coldplay concert. It's whatever's on your mind. Let's talk about it, man. Nothing wrong with that. Let's talk about Tristan Lewis and the commitment that he had earlier today. So Tristan Lewis, the 3-star athlete from Greenwood High School, just committed earlier to South Carolina. Our Gamecock insider broke this to me earlier today. And I think this is a pretty interesting commit when it comes to just with what he has to offer as a safety. He's going to play safety. He's the 3-star according to On3. Number 63 athlete in the nation, the number 17 overall player in the state of South Carolina. He's been on the rise recently from what I've heard. And that's impressive seeing the type of athlete that he has become from Greenwood in South Carolina. He's a local guy that has been there for the last couple of years. Really, really elusive guy. Is a very much so under the radar athlete, a guy that could be more of what a guy like Nicky Manwari was. 6'4", 200 pounds. Was at the South Carolina camp not too long ago and did really freaking good. Had a really, really good performance in the camp. showed that he can play at an elite level, went up against a lot of other big-time guys like 4 or 5-star guys. And this is what he said. Coach Beamer talked about development at Media Day and how they developed DQ Smith from being a high school quarterback to being so good on defense. And I just felt that this was a good reason to go ahead and go there. It's number 18, the number 18 player in the Palmetto State. Again, we have talked about this on a regular basis. The Palmetto State is a breeding ground for top-notch talent. One of the things that I say about a guy about Tristan Green is what he can do for your secondary, something that you're going to have to continue to develop at a high level. Number one, you're going to lose Jalen Kilgore after this year. I expect him to be a top 30 guy next year. So how do you respond to that? You continue to build through recruiting. And I was going to get to the recruiting ranks and showcase you guys what you've gotten just from how good you have done on the defensive side of the ball and how impressive you have done developing top talent at the end of the day. Guys, you are, I think right now, near in the top 10. You're in the top 20 in regards to recruiting rankings. Right now, you are 9th. You have 8 of your 12 commitments that are 4 stars. Guys, that is rather impressive whenever it comes to a program like South Carolina. Guys, that's a really, really impressive stat seeing that. Really, really impressive. You obviously have the Harris twins, Xavier Currents as well, Zion Giles, who just committed back in March, C.Kel Patterson, Kamari Blair, the latest commit, Jamal House, who's one of the top tight ends in the nation, obviously Noah Clark, who we covered his commitment a couple weeks ago. That was huge. Apart from that, guys, you have 4 other 3 stars. You have ESPN, who has a 4-star on Andrew Harris. Really 9 3 stars, 9 4 stars if you count some of the other recruiting rankings like ESPN's and 247's. So the fact that South Carolina, going into this year, that you had so much left to lose, so much to lose when it came to recruiting wise, that you were able to nab a handful of commits. You have 12 commits right now, 9 of which are 4-star guys. What does that tell you about the trajectory of this program? They're only going up from here. Shane Beamer is hot right now when it comes to recruiting. He has done an excellent job of just continuing to keep top talent in South Carolina, have them believe in the future of this program. And it is only going to get better for South Carolina, especially with what that 27 class looks like. There's a legit chance that 27 recruiting class for South Carolina could be one of the best we've seen in the Palmetto State in quite some time. And even these small school or these low star guys, these 2 or 3-star guys, these low 4 stars, damn. Ballers all across the field. We talked about a quarterback that is going to be on high alert in Jace Johnson. Let's say Landon Duckworth commits to Auburn at the end of the day, or he commits elsewhere that nobody really expects. How big of an impact will that make when it comes to what South Carolina is going to offer? I think that's going to make a pretty big impact, in my opinion. What about with the defensive line for Auburn or for South Carolina? It's only going to get better from here. Dare I say it that this program is going to continue to be on the rise? Guys, South Carolina's scary at the end of the day. They could be a team that that could shock you at the end of the day. Really, really intrigued to see what South Carolina has to offer when it comes to their program and when it comes to how they perform at the end of the day. Extremely excited for what this recruiting class is going to offer. It's only going to get better. It's only going to continue to improve, and it's only going to showcase more talent than we have seen in the last several weeks around South Carolina. Guys, that's going to do it for us here on South Carolina Live, here at the Voice of College Football and simulcasting on SEC at the Voice of College Football. Thank you guys for tuning in for our first live call-in show. Again, thank you to those of you that left your comments, your calls. You are the best. You are awesome. We appreciate you for tuning on in. Again, hit the like, share, and subscribe to SEC at the Voice of College Football and South Carolina at the Voice of College Football. We'll be back next Wednesday so next Wednesday we'll be back 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern for our live show. Excited to get back at it. Excited to get after it, guys. Make sure you smash that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, follow us on the socials at Lucas_Hill23. We appreciate your support for our channel. You are the best. We love you guys. We'll see you back here on Wednesday. But once again, guys, like I always mention, stay blessed. Don't ever stress. Y'all have a great night.